Almost 80% of the U.S. population lives in only 10 states. That means that there are 40 states carving up the other 20%. That's crazy. That's how you end up with South and North Dakota. You don't need both of those. All right? More people live in my county than live in both of those states combined. Think about that. Less than 7 million people live between North and South Dakota combined. I live in Long Island, New York. Look at the population of Long Island, New York. That's one county.
Okay.
7.6 million people. So what I'm trying to say is, and in those rural areas, what you're describing is what's going on as far as that lack of like curriculum when it comes to, say, geography, very skewed religiously and everything, that sort of thing. But not when it comes to cities, even in red states, because you get a very different education in, say, Brownsville, Texas, than you do in Houston or Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I get that the States is very large, and I'd say we have the kind of London South-centric, you do have regional differences in the UK. I just think that at writ large, the lack of intellectualism, I think what we find is, you had that person Dixon on earlier, and it was almost like you were tutoring him. I think it was the first time he really had engaged with education one-on-one. And I think that desire, he kind of wanted to learn but didn't want to learn. It got triggered by your son. Like, I just kind of felt like if you it's almost like you're brokering education for the masses in the US. You hate to feel like you're dumb. No one likes that. But there's such a disparity. I think your biggest polarization.
It was,
and I think you.
Yeah, it was done very intentionally.
Sorry.
It was done actually it was done very intentionally.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
Essentially, what happened is we actually had something called No Child Left Behind in this country. We basically had an issue as far as like children being, for example, allowed to get all the way to high school, but not meeting their education waypoints. All right, not meeting their actual standards, not basic standards, right? So you ended up with a lot of these high school students not being prepared for even the workforce, higher education. So what they did, instead of actually bring the students who were falling behind up to the standard, they lowered the standard and they started dumbing down the math when it came to things like Common Core. All right, which was never meant to be implemented. It was literally something that was done by a grad student in mathematics, simply trying to, basically devise a different way in order to calculate, in order to actually do their thesis. It was never meant to be implemented. It was simply a thought experiment, right? Then you had things like sight reading, all right, where instead of teaching kids about their phonics and understanding parts of speech and such, verb, noun, agreement, that sort of stuff. No. We're going to genuflect and kind of, you can't actually tell a child, no, Timmy, that's wrong. This is how you're supposed to do it. You actually have to make them guess over and over again.
Sorry to interrupt. I get that.
And that's how we ended up here.
I know all about that policy, but the point is, you're at a juncture now where it's clearly, we say low informed because it's the right thing to say, but when is the progressive? You talked about it earlier. This is the indictment of education, or lack of it. Where's the progressive nature, rather than dismantling education because Trump loves stupid voters? Where are the people really going to make that radical? The Black Panther movement done education at the grassroots. You need a fundamental shift. You need an education. That's where the Scandinavian countries, China, everyone invested in their education. And America didn't. I mean, we have a really strong education. Yeah. World leaders sent their children to the UK. They didn't send them to America.
The United States did invest in our education. We just didn't do it in K through 12. Because the thing is, it's kind of weird. Regardless of where you are in the rest of the world, all right? Whatever your degree is, whatever it is your field you want to go into, I don't care if it's STEM or any other thing, there's an American college that is your absolute dream school, whether it be Wharton, Berkeley, UCLA, NYU, Columbia, any of the 5 sisters, on and on and on. These are your dream schools, all right? But K through 12, it's trash. It's
Okay.
trash.
But
that's
absolute
because-
trash.
but
the
you have to
thing,
think,
but the thing
though,
is,
a lot
there
of
are
reason
some
is-
really great high schools.
Yeah, but the
Well,
reason
the last
that
thing I was
these-
going to say is,
Go ahead.
ooh, go ahead, please.
No, I was going to say, the reason that a lot of these, you know, are it's the way we fund our schools. Obviously, we fund them through property tax, and if property tax is low and it's a high rental area, then those schools don't get funded well. But if it's a high income area with high cost of homes, then those schools get funded exceptionally well. But colleges, on the other hand, have tuition and boosters and alum, you know what I'm saying, fundraisers and all
their
of these
endowments
other
are
things.
insane.
Yeah, exactly.
So why not be progressive enough?
But
why not be
my
progressive
alma mater
enough
has.
Hold on, go ahead, Lou.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Lou.
Why not be progressive enough to change it? I mean, if we know that this is a because that's the culture, and you laugh there because that's a very UK centric this communist accusation, this socialist accusation, it hurts you in the end. And I'm like, why am I paying for another kid? Like, getting upset about kids getting free lunch, like it's so rugged individualism.
Yes, and that is something
scary.
that is some radical individualism is a serious issue when it comes to this country, because you've got to remember, and this is something that's always a watchword when it comes to any sort of thing that requires any sort of tax dollars. All right. For example, there's a few things like in the United States, if you want to pass a piece of legislation that is even the slightest bit left-leaning, all right, the price tag is going to be calculated on a 10-year purse, whereas if it's something that's considered, conservative, it's a 1-year snapshot. And the thing is, you can just completely ignore how you're going to fund it if it's Republican or conservative, whereas it's basically got to pay for itself if it's the least bit left-leaning. This is something, and the bigger thing is, we are dealing with a portion of the population that is just very new, neophytes when it comes to political engagement. When it comes to the left, when it comes to the right, these are people who couldn't have told you a single thing about their local politics before like 4 years ago at most.
But if you know that, sorry, I just wanted to, but for the HB1 argument and saying you're not competitive, you saw how people got upset with Fishra and Rami kind of said that you're not competitive, right? We know that every other Asian person or Indian in the Southern continent has got a degree. You're not competing. You can't compete.
But they don't encourage.
Well,
we
did that intentionally during the Reagan administration. We actually had a policy shift during the Reagan administration.
Let's dismantle it. To do what?
Oh, they don't. Hold on.
Well,
they don't want an educated, yes. They don't want an educated consumer base. They don't want an educated electorate. They don't want educated people. They only want education for the the upper middle class and the ultra wealthy.
Why don't you want it for yourselves? That's what I don't fairly
get. I mean,
right?
I'm well educated. My
my
partner's well educated. Our children are well educated. We do, but it's a matter of like how we get that want and turn it into something tangible. And unfortunately, the bureaucrats and the legislatures are all paid for and paid off by massive corporations because, we've allowed that. But it's going to take more people. That's why it's kind of a good thing that Trump was elected, to be honest with you.
I agree.
So much of the population is going to be harmed so badly that at least for the next, 40 or 50 years, we won't ever probably put another fucking conservative in office. Because the conservative party, the Republican Party, was dead. Absolutely dead. I'm talking about like nearly non-existent prior to MAGA.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll land my plan here because some people are saying things, and I love this comment where it said about you want a new caste system. I agree. I think this is what this is trying to initiate. It's going to be that because working class people, autodidactics, people who teach themselves, we had a history of well-educated, self-learn, working class people. They're the ones that set up the unions. They might have read a bit of Marx, but they were the ones that were really great. I think that the anti-intellectualism, what do you go college for? What's it good for? I think that's been so strong in your country.
But it's
for such a
coming
long
from
time.
people who went to Ivy League schools.
I know the
Yes. Yes. All right. It's the thing is, when we're dealing with that, we're dealing with folks that it's a situation of they just heard about a concept that has been around in many cases for like, say, a century or more. And they think that somehow nobody cares about that when it's actually a foundational portion of our country.
Right.
They are saying we changed the definition when I'm like, no, I'm showing you from, you said that it happened 5 years ago. I'm showing you from 2005, an actual PubMed article where we're talking about this is actually a definition regarding, you're describing sex, not gender. So you're lying about that. Or here's the Webster's dictionary from 1850.
Right.
And this is what it says. Or I'm pointing out that as far as back as Aurelius Galenus in the Roman Empire, all right, in 145 AD, 145 CE, all right, where he actually wrote a treatise called On the Nature of Faculties. He wrote a treatise, a medical treatise, where he spoke on this. He actually distinguished sex and gender in the same way that we do today. That there were 8 genders under Kabbalism, early Judaism, 6 currently today in Orthodox Judaism. All right, and the idea of just 2 makes no sense.
Right.
Then where do intersex people fall?
Yep.
Where do these things are? Sex and gender is bimodal, not binary, and it doesn't make any sense just scientifically for the thing they're saying. And they're saying that they just heard about this for the first time, and speaking to them about this because they heard from the pulpit a thing and they never actually looked in the book. That is the craziest thing. I spend way more time talking about religion. I'm an atheist. I became an atheist while I was in seminary. All right. I know the Bible backwards and forwards. That's why I'm not religious. I have no problem with somebody who is, but they don't recognize that the First Amendment and the First Commandment are not compatible.
Yep.
Our founding fathers knew this.
Well, thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Lou. I appreciate you. I'm going to rotate some folks out, but thank you for coming up and sharing with us today. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And, we'll see how these things turn out. Hey, who do we got? Do I have the phone line open on YouTube? Yes. The phone line is open for YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and all the other streaming platforms that we're on. So feel free to give us a call if you have something that you'd like to say about our background. We appreciate, any input that you have. Just make sure that, you use social media friendly words. Joanne, good morning. How are you? Have you had some water and said something kind about yourself?
Dixon is back.
Hey. Oh Lord, I did. Wait, just a second, Dixon, honey. Just be a little patient. Have a little self-control. Thanks. I actually was not trying to come up here, but since I am,
Hi, my love.
7 blessings. Good morning,
Oh
everyone.
my God!
Love you.
I swear I'm gonna block you.
Oh no.
And since I'm up here, we're at 351,000. Need y'all to tap the screen and share the live. We're at 1.3K shares, which is great. We can get that up to 2,000 real quick, and we can get these likes up too. So more people can hear this information, because obviously a lot of people need it.
Thanks, Felicia.
Yes, I agree. If you want to get this live out to that FYP and get more ops, somebody other than Dixon, you got to tap a screen share the live. Gift the panel. Yeah, tap a screen share the live. Make sure that you're gifting the panel. Jones, when you get a moment, if you could check your text messages, I would appreciate it. And yeah, guys, do all the things. We're at 354K likes. Let's get to that 500,000 mark. We're having some great conversations here today. Let's see if Dixon came back to contribute something of intelligence or resembling intelligence. Also, please don't be disrespectful to Joanna. Joanna is her name. You can read that. You know that. Let's not do that.
Is she done?
Yeah, hey bro, if you use somebody's name other than the name they gave you to give or the name on the screen, I'm just gonna drop you. We don't do that. Hello, caller. Name, age, and where are you calling from?
Hello. My name is Camille, and I'm from New York.
Okay, Camille from New York. What's your age?
I'm 18.
Okay. Well, what is it that you'd like to add?
Well, so I was watching on the YouTube stream,
Okay.
and I think for the most part, I probably agree with basically everything you would have to say, but I'm just wondering why you use an AI-generated image on the front.
Which one?
It's
of Trump?
Donald Trump. Yeah.
Why not? It's funny.
It is funny, but I guess it's just that it's AI is a little bit in poor taste, don't you think?
I don't know. Somebody sent it to me.
I was going to say,
And I
why
was
does
like,
it really
I
matter?
like this. So I
What
put
about
it,
it makes it in poor taste?
Well, because a lot about AI images in general is just kind of unethical. That's why.
You mean
at
like
least,
in terms of like people's intellectual property and things of that nature?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but do you think I give a fuck about people's intellectual property in terms of Trump?
Well, it's not.
No,
just
the
thinking
answer is
about
no.
stuff about Trump.
The answer is no. The answer is absolutely I don't. Like all of Trump's NFTs were fucking, you know what I'm saying, were AI, and it didn't stop him from selling them motherfuckers.
Well, but I'm not like criticizing them right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could, in terms of Trump, like you can all spare me the feigned outrage about having a Trump AI face on the background.
I was about to say, I don't think it's that serious. It's just up there for jokes.
Oh, I mean, it's not like the world's biggest issue to me. I was just wondering because like if you put like a shittily put together like Photoshop image of Trump in like the same couple of images, it would probably be a lot funnier. And
Yeah,
probably...
I'm not going through all of that.
Bro, what about?
Dixon, I don't need your help, sir. But yeah, I'm not going through all of that. It's not that serious to me. Like I don't necessarily care about Trump or anybody who, you know, spent any time, you know, creating an image of him.
Yeah. And I guess another thing is also if you had people that are like just tuning in, they might be adverse as well, just because it does display like a lower effort, I guess.
Sure. And I would also tell you that I don't care. Like legitimately fine. Don't give a shit. Like if you listen, here's the beautiful thing about the internet, right? Here's the beautiful thing about the internet, especially if you're on your phone and shit. If you don't like what you're seeing, you can just close the window or scroll away.
Yeah, I mean, I could say that about a lot of things, though. You know.
There it is. There it is. But yes, I'm not. I don't feel any type of moral obligation to not utilize AI to, you know, demean or degrade Donald Jimothy Trump.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about that, you know, but
yeah. So if it was like an AI image of like MLK or Malcolm or, you know, Baldwin or Angela Davis or somebody like that, yeah, that probably, you know, be in poor taste. But this fascist piece of shit, like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I can see that, I guess. I probably wouldn't personally go about it like that, but I get what you're talking about.
Somebody said, I agree with this guy 100. We should continue to go blue because I've lost just about everything over the past 4 years except my house. And if we continue to go blues, I can lose it too. I don't know what the fuck that means. I don't know. Like, did anybody show up? Did anybody show up to the elections on November 5th and vote for a color? Did anybody do that? Or did they vote for candidates? I don't know. Anyways, I don't give a fuck about red or blue. If you lost damn near everything over the last 4 years, that says quite a few things about me. About you. You're probably not well educated. You probably didn't prepare yourself for the future. You probably didn't manage your money well. You probably weren't a great employee, right? Like, isn't that y'all's motto? Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Maybe you should have worked harder. Maybe you should have got 2 jobs.
That's what I'm talking about.
2 jobs and working overnight shit.
If you lost everything over the last 4 years, I can assure you it didn't have anything to do with the fucking president. Jesus Christ. All right, is there anything else you want to add before I go to the next caller?
No, you can go to the next caller. Thank you for having me.
All right, have a good one.
Yeah, let's jackhammer the BLM, sidewalk.
The Bureau of Land Management has a sidewalk?
Come on now.
Come on now, what?
Isn't that what BLM stands for?
The Bureau of Land Management has a sidewalk?
All right.
I'm confused as fuck. Like out in front of the building or something?
Yeah, what are we destroying?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The Black Lives Matter.
Oh, okay. We're destroying Black Lives Matter?
No, you know what I'm talking about.
We don't know what you're talking about.
No fucking clue what you're talking about whatsoever.
That little platform. That's it's like a. It's like a. Gosh, dude, what is it? It's like in memory, or it's like a.
Are you talking about the street in DC?
The street.
Oh, out in front of the Capitol?
Yeah,
I
think that's what he's referring to.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, I already knew Trump was a racist. Like, that's not so.
That is not racist.
Like, oh no, he's doing racist shit. Like,
I was about to say he was racist before he ran for president.
Right.
I'm sure he'll be racist after after his presidency.
There was very fine people on both sides when there's fucking literal Yahtzees and white nationalists at the event.
I don't think it's racist. I think it's a great move to stop putting
black people from being recognized in our society. Sure.
Why are we continuing to fuel racism and putting race on a pedestal?
That's not how racism is fueled. Racism is fueled by trying to erase people's identity and existence. Hello, caller. Name, age, and where are you calling from?
My name's Mitch, 27, calling from USA.
USA?
Yeah.
Huh.
You mean more specific?
I didn't know that was a state.
I don't care. I honestly don't. Just what would you like to add to the conversation?
Oh, I just wanted to shit on Trump. Is it like debate? It's supposed to be debate or?
Okay. You can start your own live, and you know what I'm saying.
I just wanted to suck on his nuts like you guys.
Do what? Dixon, have you ever considered going to therapy, bro? There's nothing funny about that. Like, you're not well, man.
No, I'm perfectly fine.
You're not, though.
I wanted to see how you felt about that, and
you're not. I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Like,
I've known this country is, you know what I'm saying, hates black people. Like, it was quite literally built by enslaving us.
They don't hate black people, but constantly do things to keep black people at the bottom.
What am I supposed to, like?
It's kind of weird.
Go to Hallmark and buy a teddy bear and cuddle with it later on? Like, I don't give a fuck. tear down MLK's statue while you're at it.
You sure?
Get rid of the Black History Museum.
You sure?
Yeah, because this is what I expect of you. Like, this is what I expect of white America. Like, I'm not shocked by, you know what I'm saying, racist and anti-black behavior. Like that. Bro, I've been alive too long in this country to be, you know what I'm saying, shocked by that.
All this is a normal day.
I think stop it, dude. Don't act like you grew up in oppression. And
who?
I don't understand. Like,
my kindergarten teacher literally called me the N-word.
Talking about your son. I don't understand why he chimes in.
You don't think that he's ever faced racism before?
Sure, everybody has.
I could still...
White people cannot be a victim of racism. White people can't be a victim of racism.
Racism is prejudice, right?
What?
Yeah.
No, racism is not prejudice. Prejudice means that you have an aversion to somebody without having a reason or basis for it.
Oh my goodness, dude.
You're right. And last time I checked, black people have 420 years worth of reason to hate white people.
But yeah, white people can't be a victim of racism. Racism is literally a system created to hold white people at the top of a social hierarchical structure. They can't be a victim of it. They created it to benefit for the sole benefit of themselves.
So you guys only like white people if they voted for Harris, right?
I mean, no, that's not the case. Because there's white people that, like, you know, wrote in Bernie Sanders. I'm sure I would, you know, get along just fine with them. There's white people who didn't vote at all for various reasons. And I'm sure we could be cool. But white people who voted specifically for hate, as you, you know, suggested earlier, yeah, no, I don't like them. Like, why would I? Why would I hate? Why would I like, you know what I'm saying, people that are willing to vote not only, right, against their own best interests, but do so against their own best interests because hurting others was more important to them than protecting themselves.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, dude.
I know it must be hard to talk to people that are smarter than you.
No, it's your little fan base down there with their dumbass comments.
Oh,
stop paying attention to the comments.
Like, I don't understand how these, like, you know, these super almost white black men, right?
Super almost white black men?
Yeah, like the boy Chris down there, like, he could be definitely mistaken for a white man. You know, I don't understand why you guys hang on the coattails of black
Hello,
people.
caller. Name, age, and where are you calling from?
His name's right there.
Ray, 47, Oklahoma.
You said, I'm sorry, I missed your name. What was the name?
Greg.
Ray.
Ray. Gotcha. Hello,
Yes,
Ray.
sir.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic, man. Have you had some water today? Said something kind about yourself?
Every day.
Love it.
Say something kind about myself and everybody else in this country.
Love it. What did you want to add to the conversation?
I just want to ask, I understand that the media has called Trump racist from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. But can you say one thing that he's done racist as the United
absolutely.
States
I could probably
president?
name like 70.
Wait, can we start from the beginning?
Since he's been president of the United States.
Absolutely.
I just want one.
Yeah, so
you say 70, just give me one.
Gotcha. So when he was at the Association of Black Journalists and he was yelling at those black women and called them nasty for asking him a question that any other person would have asked, you know, from any left-leaning publication, to constantly call black women nasty, because we watched him do that to Omarosa too, and then we watched him do it to Kamala Harris, and this is a word he specifically uses for black women. But aside from that, like talking about immigrants taking black jobs is probably like the most microaggressive racist shit I've ever heard in my life.
Okay, I gotta jump in here. So telling the truth is being racist.
What telling what truth?
Look in the inner cities, and it's proven that these immigrants are taking the jobs
false.
No,
from
that's not
the black community.
false.
No, they're not.
No, it's not. It is absolutely a proven statistic. You can look it up.
You're lying.
It's not.
This has been fact checked
I am
multiple
not
times.
lying.
This has been fact checked multiple
just
times.
incorrect. Lying or no, you're incorrect. I don't listen.
No.
Do you think that you're the first person that's ever come up? You know what I'm saying? I talk to thousands of people damn near a day.
No, hold on. Despite Trump's claims,
I'm going to pull it up right now. I'm going to put it on the screen for you.
Ray, be quiet. Despite Trump's claim, data shows migrants aren't taking jobs from black or Hispanic people, right? This is PBS. We have migration policy. We have the National Bureau of Economic Research, the Washington Post, ABC, NBC, Pew Research, American Immigration Council, National Review, Axios.
Yeah, so it's not true. It's been debunked probably
but
a million times over.
the National Labor Board says it is. So the one run by the government says that's actually what's happening, but you believe these other people that are not run by the government.
The very first source that he mentioned was literally the government.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was put out by the National Labor Board.
Sir, black people aren't losing jobs to immigrants. We're not losing jobs to immigrants. As a matter of fact, there's 8.5 million open jobs in the United States currently, right? In addition to that, the vast majority of the jobs that immigrants, dominate that work sector are like agriculture, right? Which the vast majority of black people aren't going to go out to the fields and pick produce.
Wait.
No, sir, I'm not going to allow you to cut me off. I'm not going to allow you to cut me off. I'm not going to allow you to cut me off.
Those are
that's
two
crazy.
different things.
No, it's not. Immigrants are immigrants. There's no such thing as an illegal human being. Immigrants are immigrants.
Yes,
no undocumented person is taking any job from black people.
For a reason.
I don't give a fuck about your borders.
Borders
I don't.
are man-made
and
lines.
sir, hold on, Quentin. Sir, stop yelling at me. Like you're acting like a child. Like, why are you
yelling because I'm
screaming?
at work. I got to talk a little louder. I'm not really yelling. This is basically my normal voice right here.
Okay, so are you married?
Yes.
Okay, when your wife is talking, do you start talking over top of her?
Most of the time, no.
Okay, then shut the fuck up while I'm talking. Thank you.
But you're making a wrong accusation because you're comparing immigrants and illegal immigrants, which are two different things.
Sir, no human being is illegal.
They are illegal. If you come into my country by breaking a law,
not your
that
country.
makes you illegal.
You don't belong here. As a matter of fact, when are you going home?
I am home.
You're not.
Unfortunately, back in the day, that's how land was taken.
Nope.
This land was conquered.
It was not
That's what
conquered. You
happened.
don't make
was
treaties.
conquered by the Vikings.
You don't make treaties with people you conquered, sir. That's not how conquered works.
Really?
Yes, really.
Name one country that conquered another that didn't make treaties with it.
You don't
Even
make
Russia
treaties
in the
with
last
people
few
you
years with the countries they've conquered, they've made
They
treaties
haven't conquered any countries. What are you talking about? Russia hasn't conquered any
Russia
countries.
under Obama took, I can't remember the name of the country.
Crimea is not a country.
Oh, brother.
Jesus Christ. Crimea is a municipality within the confines of Ukraine.
Not only that.
And there was a vote.
They didn't actually start attacking until Donald Trump got
Correct.
into office.
They committed no military actions on Ukraine until Trump took office.
Oh, really? So they didn't do it under all of Biden?
We
what?
just said it started.
It started when in Trump's first term.
And then hold on, not only
Russia
that.
took none of Ukraine during Donald Trump's
Wrong.
first term.
They invaded That's wrong. They invaded the Donbass region while Trump was in office. They bombed Ukrainian ships in the Azovs while Trump was in office. That's why Trump was impeached, because he was trying to withhold money to Ukraine while Russia was attacking them. What are you talking about?
And not only that, you always go with this no new wars thing, but then didn't Donald Trump sign a declaration of war against Syria?
Sure did.
Man.
Sure did sign a declaration of war against Syria.
Did we go to war?
Yes, we bombed the fuck out of them. He even bragged about it. I'm gonna drop the mother of all bombs.
Like I don't know how y'all brag no new wars, but he dropped record amount of bombs.
A record amount.
More than
he dropped
Obama.
more bombs in 4 years than Obama and Bush dropped in a combined 16 years. which is
Literally
nuts.
I will look into that.
But literally, Donald Trump pulled the okie doke on you guys using fear and violence.
Yes. As black people, nobody's taking
What were
our
we
jobs.
supposed to be afraid of?
Immigrants.
Not
Trans
afraid
people.
of immigrants.
Trans people.
I
Yes,
just
you are.
believe that if you break the law, you break the law.
Yeah. Okay. You broke the law. Trump broke the law. Are you both?
You elected Trump?
Right. Like you elected a 34-time fucking felon, an adjudicated
we elected
rapist.
a guy that the government was weaponized
No,
against.
sir. No, sir.
That
No,
no
it was
one
not.
believes in his felonies.
No, it wasn't.
Every one of his felonies was about, well, numerous of his felonies were about, oh, you borrowed more money than your house was worth, but you paid it all back. But
That
it's
had
still going to
nothing
be a
do-
felony
that had
instead of
nothing
a
to do with his
misdemeanor.
felony. That had nothing to do with his felony charges. His felony charges weren't related to that at all.
New York, felony charges.
Yep.
Very first
What?
felony charges
No,
brought
sir.
against him were that exactly.
No, sir. You're talking about the fraud charges. Those weren't felonies. Those were
They
civil
were
violations.
felonies.
No, they were not.
They bumped it up from.
Nope. Wrong charges. Wrong charges.
You can't bump something from civil to criminal. Either it's a civil offense or it's
Yeah,
a
that was
criminal
civil
offense.
offense.
Now, two things can, but they can
wasn't
violate
saying from-
different.
I wasn't
what?
saying from civil. I was saying from a misdemeanor to a felony, because the
Because it met
statute
the
of limitations
criteria.
had already run out on the misdemeanor.
What? Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's not how that works, but the fact that there are so many cases that he was involved in that y'all can't even keep him straight should show you that he has no business being in that office in the first place.
Okay, y'all filed charges on him for having those documents in his home, but Joe
The ones
Biden
that he
had the
refused
same
to give
thing,
back?
which he
Like,
was
what?
that he literally had no right to have, because he didn't. He wasn't even the president; he was the vice president. But you won't file charges on Joe Biden.
I
Y'all
don't care
gripe
about Joe
Trump
Biden.
doing
Hey, listen.
pardons,
Let me tell
but
you what. Let me tell you what. If Joe Biden committed a crime, lock his ass up. Lock Joe up. Lock Hunter up. Lock Jill up. I don't know the daughter's name, but you can lock her ass up too. The dog, what's his name? Major? Lock Major's ass up. Put him in a fucking kennel. I don't give a fuck about the Bidens. I don't idolize politicians. If you committed a crime, especially a crime of opportunity, fuck you. You get whatever the consequences are.
Well, unfortunately, we can't lock up Hunter anymore because Biden pardoned him for 11 years.
Well,
Listen, they fucking investigated him for 4 and found fucking nothing worth locking him up over other than tax evasion or lying on the gun application.
And he
They
paid
showed
those
the
taxes
man's
back.
genitals in Congress
Right.
simply to fucking embarrass him. Like, that is awful. That is disgusting. That is wicked work. And I think that the thing that you're missing is the differentiating factor between Joe Biden and Donald Trump is that when the documents were discovered in Joe Biden's possession, he gave them back.
Trump
The
refused to
difference
give them
is
back.
Donald Trump was president. He had a right to have those documents.
No.
But he didn't have a right to have them after he left. He didn't have a right to have them after he left. He was asked to return them multiple times. He shared the information with foreign nationals. That is treason, sir.
Here's the thing.
I was about to say, was
Here's
We
the
don't
thing.
know what documents. We don't know what documents Trump had because they refused to release what documents
was he
had.
giving them back when they were sitting in Mar-a-Lago's bathroom, locked?
Wait.
Was that giving them back?
I'm just asking this.
I just
If
want to
he had
understand. Was that
already
giving them back?
unclassified them.
No, he
They were
didn't.
not
If he'd already
unclassified.
He said in the tape. They literally taped him having the conversation. He said, I could have declassified these if I wanted to.
But he
He didn't.
Like, it's like y'all read like halfway down the article and then just stop when y'all feel like you found a reason to say Trump didn't do anything wrong.
Trump's a human being. He's done things wrong.
Like rape.
Nobody's perfect.
The first thing you started when you came up here was that Trump wasn't racist.
Trump is not racist. I'm sorry. You might want to believe
Trump's
Trump
a
is
super
racist.
racist. Like
But go
super
look at his,
duper
go
racist.
look
Hold on,
at his record.
we could,
Yes, his record is racist as fuck.
No, let's look at the record. We could start from the beginning. The 1970s he violated the Fair Housing Fair
Housing Act.
Yeah, the
Twice.
Fair Housing Act under one of the most racist presidents we've ever had, right? And he was still found guilty.
Twice.
He called for the unaliving of the Central Park Five.
Sure did.
He doubled down when they were exonerated. He said black people are lazy. He said he didn't want anybody counting his money except Jews. Quote.
Right. He called a sitting congressperson. He called a sitting congressperson.
Wait,
bro, you said look at his record.
That is his record.
That's his record. His record is that he's a racist.
Since he's been president, look at his record.
Yes, since he's been president, black jobs, calling black countries, predominantly black countries, shithole countries, saying that Haitians were eating cats and dogs. Saying that
they have news reports on.
No,
That's
they
false.
do not. The mayor, the governor, the sheriff's department, the chief of police, the citizens all said it wasn't happening.
Even J.D. Vance came out and said he made up the story. So, like, what are we talking about?
Jesus Christ.
He said that Obama wasn't a U.S. citizen.
Right.
He said that Kamala Harris wasn't black.
Right.
What do you say? I don't know what she is, but she's claimed to be Indian, but now I guess she wants to be black or something like that. Like,
did she not claim to be Indian when she was first
Sir,
elected?
is Indian a race? Is Indian a race?
Yes, it's called Native American.
Wrong.
those are
her
two
mom is
different
from
things.
India.
Those are literally
Jesus
two different
Christ.
things.
Excuse me.
Those are literally two different
I got that
things.
mixed up for a minute. I was thinking about my country, not.
Those aren't Native Americans either. America wasn't even an established place, for one.
Okay, well, I'm
They're
not calling them
indigenous.
Native Americans because it was established back then. I'm calling them that because that's what it is now. And you're
No,
right. You claim to be from India.
It's still not.
That's not a race.
And not only that, she has been claiming she was black
I think
since
No
she
Rez wanted
was.
to say something. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad.
I mean, I just wanted to say, like, he said that some of the stuff was 30 years ago, and just in the effort of transparency, I do believe that people can hold racist beliefs and do racist shit and then learn and change. But there is nothing about his behavior 30 years ago and his behavior today that indicates that he has learned, changed, or grown from any of that behavior. He is, in fact, still racist. And you supporting that and the things that you're saying and coming out of your mouth right now in this moment are, in fact, supporting racist behavior, which leads me to believe that you are also racist.
Right. And we can test that theory. We can test it.
You can believe I'm racist.
This is my favorite part of the day.
I do. Do you believe black on black crime is a real thing?
I believe every race on every race crime is a real thing.
Okay.
You commit crime on the people that are around you.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Well,
if
at
I
least
live
we
in a
passed that
predominantly white neighborhood, the crime that I commit would probably be predominantly against white.
test. Do you think that the vast majority of violent crime is committed by black people?
I don't know. I know what the statistics say, but I
What
live in
do
a
the
small
statistics say?
southern town,
don't-
so I don't know.
The statistics don't say that.
Let's get down to the real meat.
Statistics say that 56% of violent crimes are committed by black people.
No, they don't.
Which are 19% of our population.
They're not even 19. We're 14% of the population, and no statistics don't say that.
I was about to say, like, it goes based off the FBI crime data table, and if you look at the bottom, there's a number where the race wasn't identified, which drops the number down to like, I think it's like 38%. And not only that, those are based off of arrest. And we also see that black people had the highest exoneration rate, meaning that they didn't commit those crimes. But the problem is, black neighborhoods and black communities just happen to be so much over policed by by police officers, right? And we see that they're being arrested for crimes that they usually didn't commit. We see that they're being exonerated for those crimes. And even then, sometimes they aren't even exonerated. Even after they're found innocent, they're still left there to sit in jail.
Facts.
You mean like the guy that was on death row with Kamala Harris?
Kamala Harris is her name, number one.
I'm sorry,
Number two,
Kamala.
Yeah, Kamala Harris is her name. And number two, the person that was on death row wrote a letter during the campaign and said, please stop using his name. It had nothing to do with Kamala Harris. Him remaining on death row had nothing to do with her at all. So that's what I'm saying. Like
but a judge had to order her to give up the evidence. So apparently it had something to do with her.
That's fine. I'm gonna read it. That's not what happened at all. And she wasn't even named in the lawsuit for a reason.
I was about to say, I forgot.
No, I have it. It's on my iPad. Oh, here we go. Says Kamala Harris oversaw a police department that was abusing people's rights and that she did not disclose to defense attorneys when there was exculpatory evidence. She didn't do that. She never did it. And so what happened? Along came her federal judge and said enough, and he freed 1,000 of these people. Like, absolutely 1,000% a lie. And then the second one was Kevin Cooper was the guy's name. Let me see if I can find that one.
You got a good memory.
I mean, it doesn't take much to look this stuff up. Y'all just refuse to do it on your own.
While he's looking that up, Ray, I had a quick question for you. Since you came up here talking about immigrants taking black jobs, what exactly is a black job that they're taking?
Okay, this is how I look at it. I'm not saying that black people work in certain industries. I'm saying that immigrants move to bigger cities most of the time. Illegal. I know y'all don't like that word, but I'm going to go with my word.
But it's not factually correct.
And plus, that's not the answer to her question.
Chicago, New York City, all are sanctuary cities. So a lot of illegal immigrants go there. Or you can call them undocumented.
Hold on, just let him answer Shantae's question. Go ahead. Can you just answer the question?
Yes, they move to these cities and they move to the same areas where a lot of black people live. So by default, they would be taking the jobs from the black people that live in that area. I'm not saying that black people work certain jobs or white people work certain jobs. I'm saying by proximity, if they move into your area, just like if they came down here and moved into where I am, they would be taking my job.
No, they wouldn't. So
sounds like redlining.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. This is about as blunt as I can fucking be. If somebody who doesn't speak the native language, right, or the populist language in this country can travel hundreds, if not thousands of miles across the most treacherous terrain on this planet, right? Come here, not know anybody, not know how to speak the language, and take my job, I didn't deserve the fucking job. I didn't deserve the job.
W.
It was mine to give away. It was my job to lose.
But yet we have Survivor, the TV show, that promotes people surviving the jungles and whatnot. But the people who get through the Darien Gap, the most treacherous place on the fucking planet, they deserve that $1 million prize. Period. End of story. Because y'all wouldn't have made it 5 minutes with those mosquitoes or those spiders or those snakes or the elephant grass.
And if I can add one thing as well, so your logic kind of falls apart when you don't talk about a sanctuary city, right? Like, you do realize black people live in more than just sanctuary cities, right? About 40 million plus. But... Okay, so hold on. I wasn't talking. I mean, I was still talking, right? So your logic. Okay, got it. So what about the black people that don't live in sanctuary cities? Because I don't think Trump was talking about all black people. So what about them? What constitutes a black job? Can you defend that position without bringing in immigrants?
No, I can't.
Be quite... Okay, so
I can't
at least
defend anybody saying certain races have certain jobs. I can't.
Well, okay, that's all we need to hear.
But it's a lot of people say that. A lot of people say white jobs, but it's not.
What's a white job? I've never heard anybody say white job.
I've never heard that either.
I've never heard anybody say white on white crime before.
Right.
I have. I just told you it's about where you are. Where I'm from, there's a lot of white on white crime. Why? Because there's a lot of white people around a lot of white people. I'm not saying that any crime, it should just be called a crime. It shouldn't be boiled down to race. I don't believe in race. I don't believe in racism. I think we should treat
You
every
don't believe
American,
in racism.
It's because you're racist.
No,
it exists.
Right.
You not believing in it doesn't make it go away.
I believe it as it is a word. It has a definition. I believe in that. I don't believe in racism as in treating people by their race.
But you do.
I might be white, but how do I treat people by their race? Illegal immigrants are not a color.
Sir, how did your people get here?
I don't know, but I imagine they came over on a boat way back in the day.
Right. Yeah. So, and when they came on that boat, what documentation did they have to provide?
None.
Exactly.
It was a different time.
All they did was sign a sheet of paper.
It wasn't a different time. A different time has nothing to do with it. A difference in time has nothing to do with it. I'm going to go even further. Do you believe that the Jewish people have the right to occupy their ancestral lands in Israel?
Yes.
Okay, so you do believe
I'm a
that. Got it.
Christian.
Oh, okay, great, awesome. You know, the people crossing the border, like 87% of them are also devout Christians. But aside from that, you do know that they're indigenous to this continent, right? Right?
Continent, not this country.
Yes,
And
this
not all of them
country.
are-
Literally, those people that were pushed into Central and South America lived from the south of Florida all the way up to Oregon for hundreds of years, thousands of years even. And they spoke Spanish from the tip of Florida all the way up to Oregon for well over 100 years before a single European or English-speaking European person ever showed up here.
¿Qué pasó?
Texas was Texas.
Yes, for over 100 years before any English-speaking person ever touched this soil.
Oh, you got me on one thing. I didn't know they spoke Spanish.
Yes, because Spain and Portugal came over here first.
Some would
I
argue
knew Spain
that
had reached here first.
some would argue that Spanish is America's language.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's the first non-native language ever spoken on this continent. So if any language should be our national language, that's not an indigenous language, it should be Spanish.
Hernan Cortez.
But even that, I just want to understand, like, how are these people illegal in your definition?
Yeah, you can't arbitrarily draw a line across people's land and then vouch for Jewish people. So hold on. The Jewish people were ran out of Israel, according to the story.
By the
so
British.
it's not their land anymore.
Right.
Do you even know how like that whole thing started, or no?
That's my favorite
How
topic.
the whole what thing started?
Like the whole
I'd like to know if he knows
occupation
the
thing in
difference between.
Israel.
Hold on, we gotta let Quentin finish. We can't just start talking when in the
sorry,
middle
sorry.
of his sentence.
Like the whole land occupation thing in Israel. Do you understand how it started or no?
Do you want to go all the way back, or are you talking about in the 1940s?
However far back you want to go.
Because if you want to go back to the biblical times, God told the Israelites, go take this land, and that's what they did.
That's not how that story went.
I was about to say that's literally not how the story went,
boy.
but
It
that's
isn't.
fine.
God didn't free Moses and the Israelites from the Egyptian people where they were slaves and tell them, I'm going
Yeah.
to send you to the promised land
He
and
said-
to kill everybody in the promised land, because if you don't, they will turn you away
Yes.
from me.
He said, I will give you a land, right? In the future, I will give you a land. But that land isn't supposed to be given to them until Jesus returns. Did Jesus come back and I missed it?
Nope.
That is incorrect. I'm sorry.
What?
God literally sent these people into the promised land and told them to go kill these
Quote the
people.
verse.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and quote the verse.
Yeah. So you're.
Would you like me to? I got my Bible right here.
Sure.
Hold
Yeah,
on,
we're
hold
gonna run Bible verses. Let's do it.
Yeah. So one, right? They got exiled twice, right, in the Old Testament, and it's conditional on how they return. So the Jewish Messiah is different than, what the Christians believe in. Jeremiah 29:13, right, says that they can only come back in the land when the Messiah gathers them from the four corners of the earth. Did that happen in 1947? Did that happen in 1947? Okay, second King,
No, it hasn't
Deuteronomy
happened
30.
yet.
Awesome, perfect. Hold that thought. Friggin' Deuteronomy 30, 1 through 10, right, says that once they turn away and come back to God, also the Messiah will come back. And I just want to make a little statistic here, right? 90% of that country is actually atheist right now. They're just ethnically Jewish. Correct. So according to the Torah, according to the Tanakh, this is literally just another country that has nothing to do with biblical prophecy. Some old dude in San Antonio, Texas in 1960, John Hagee, decided to use that as propaganda to go lure people like you in.
Yeah. Since we're doing, you said you have your Bible with you, and I'm glad that you do.
Yeah, I just opened it to Deuteronomy 30 when you started talking about that.
Gotcha.
You tell me the verse, I'll go there.
Do you want to read 1 through 10?
I just read like half of it. You want me to read the rest? You want me to actually read it out loud?
Well, I'm going to give you one to read out loud. I'm going to give you one to read out loud, or I'll read it out loud to you, and you can just follow along. How does that sound? That sound
it's
good?
Fine. Just tell me where it's at and give me a second to find it.
Matthew 25. We're going to start at verse 31.
I'm on my way. Give me 1 second. I'm in Matthew. I just got to find 25. You're going to start at verse what?
Matthew 25, verse 31. I'm going to start at 31.
Let me get to 31. I got one of them Bibles that's got little bitty numbers. I'm sorry, I'm a little older. It's hard for me to see.
Nah, trust me, I understand. I'm blind as a bat.
The one that starts out with, when the Son of Man comes in his glory.
That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm there. Yeah.
Good. When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, a sojourner, an immigrant, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?" And the king will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." Then he will say to those on his left, "Depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me." And they will also answer, "Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or needing clothes or sick or in prison and did not help you?" And he will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me." And they will go away to eternal punishment, but the righteous to eternal life. Amen?
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Are you a
Amen.
sheep are you a sheep or a goat, Ray?
I try to be a sheep.
Ooh, so
but
hold
I
on.
can only do.
No, I got
my
you.
country can only do so much.
Well, that's
for
not
other
true.
people.
That's not true. We throw away 9 times the amount of food that people consume. We throw away 100 times the amount of clothes that people wear.
Wait. And 9 times?
9 times the amount of food that people consume.
So you're telling me every day that even though
we throw away 9 times the amount of food that people eat.
You know why that is?
We have like more vacant houses, more vacant apartments, more vacant hotels, more vacant shelters to like house these people.
Empty shopping malls, empty hospitals, empty commercial buildings.
Right. All of this stuff.
Okay, y'all are getting me. I'll give it to you. You are getting me like I didn't know the 9-time statistic.
Hold on.
Thank you for telling me that one. That's an interesting thing to know.
Not only can we end homelessness, like literally tomorrow if we wanted to, we could end homelessness and still take in these people to house them, to feed them, and for them to work. Like, we have the resources to do it. We just choose not to because it doesn't make them the money that they actually want.
We literally throw away 40% of the food we produce in the United States. 40% of the food that we produce, we throw away.
Hey, Jones, I've got an analogy for you on that.
Sure. Go ahead.
Earlier, we talked about how the GOP is taking away school lunches from children, but they care about the children. The United States is the equivalent to a family that goes to a big, beautiful park and has a birthday party and orders 30 pizzas for 5 people to show up. And meanwhile, the park is full of families picnicking, kids running around, and a kid comes up and says, "Hey, I see you got a lot of pizza. Can I have a slice?" And the guy says, "Did you pay for this pizza? I don't think so. You didn't work for this pizza." Now, any of us, if we were at that park, we would see that family and say, "Y'all a bunch of selfish fuckwits." Like, for real. And not on top of that, you had all your birthday presents. You only took the 2 that you really liked and you threw the rest in the garbage. And then you hired a security guard to make sure that you didn't come fish it out of the garbage. Now tell me if that doesn't sound like the most assholery of assholes that you ever heard. But we do that every single fucking day. And people will happily begrudge children, but they would be guilted if it was at a park, if somebody was watching. Today, I woke up my FYP to a message from Head Start that this page will be going away. Now, one thing people may or may not know about me, my husband got laid off 10 months after we bought our first house, and we were scrambling. We did whatever we could. We're trying to find work for a year in a very niche industry and position. So I did everything I could to take care of my family, and I was able to get my 4-year-old daughter, or 3-year-old at that time, into full-day Head Start program. 9 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. And do you know what having my one child in that Head Start class did? It allowed my husband and I to take our paltry savings, open up a scratch insurance agency, and then create 7 new well-paying jobs that did not exist in an area that was predominantly only service jobs and retail. So anybody who wants to bash on a Head Start or give to somebody else, which demographic, Jones, has the highest number of entrepreneurs in this country?
Black women.
Black women. And
then,
second to that, the most
immigrants create the most new jobs in the United States, believe it or not. And then black women have the
Hispanic.
and then black women make up the largest percentage of entrepreneurs, but not all of them hire people. Some of them are just like self-employed entrepreneurs.
So if we were to look at the statistics of BIPOC people versus white people, which would you surmise are the ones who are actually lifting them up by their bootstraps? Which ones are actually hustling?
Right.
W.
Like, imagine being mad at people for coming to the United States to seek a better life for themselves and their family, and then somebody who claims to be a Christian telling them that they need to go home or calling them illegal.
I was about to say, like, doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of the American dream?
Right. Like, when are we taking down the statue? What does the Statue of Liberty say? Give us your.
Wait, I have one question for you.
Sure.
Y'all say you're a Christian too, so I'm going to ask
I never
you
said
a
that.
question.
Never claimed
never
to
said
be
that.
I am
Christian.
though.
Yeah,
I am though.
Please do not accuse me of such
You quote
blasphemy.
the Bible, so I'm going to ask you a question about
Sure.
the Bible then.
Yeah.
Does the Bible, did not Jesus say, Jesus himself, the Son of God, say that you are to obey the laws of the land?
When he
And if the
refers
law of
to
the
law,
land is
hold
you're
on,
not supposed to come
He did not
here
say
illegally.
that.
the Bible says do
He
not
did.
follow.
Hold on one second. Too many people talking at the same time. Go ahead, Quentin.
If I'm not mistaken, the Bible says to follow the laws of God. And he also says not to subscribe to man-made laws, like referring to government. So, like, as a Christian, you shouldn't be voting.
Yeah.
You're breaking the rules of Jesus.
Jesus literally hated the government. You don't remember him going against the Pharisees and the Roman government, flipping tables over, telling people, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, didn't mean pay taxes. What he was saying is Caesar put his face on this shit. It belongs to him. Give it back to him. So, like, these ideas of what the Bible says is absolutely absurd. Jesus said not to put the laws of man over the laws of God.
I can't find
Romans
one
13, by the way.
the Bible.
Book of
I
Acts.
can't
too,
find
says
one portion of the Bible that would align with conservatism. Like anything that is taught in the Bible is the polar opposite of being a conservative in this
Right.
country. I mean, maybe caller, I believe your name is Ray. You could find something in the Bible that would align with conservatism. I would like to know. But realistically, people who claim to be conservative cannot be Christian, and people who are Christian cannot be conservative. Those are two things that
That's a little
cannot
judgmental, but okay.
actually exist at the same time.
Yeah. I'm going to read
Well,
this
if
really
there
quick.
is,
Go ahead.
please
Sorry.
tell me, because I would like to know. I was just, if there's something that you can show in the Bible that aligns with conservatism, could you please tell us? Because I haven't been able to find anything.
Me neither. Even the concept of democracy, Jesus never taught.
Right. This is Matthew 7, verses 7 through 13. They worship me in vain. Their worship is meaningless and worthless as a pretense, teaching the precepts of men as doctrines, meaning giving their traditions equal weight with the scripture. You disregard and neglect the commandment of God and cling faithfully to the tradition of man. You are experts at setting aside and nullifying the commandment of God in order to keep your man-made traditions and regulations. For Moses said, honor your father and mother, and he who speaks evil of his father or mother must be put to death. But Pharisees and scribes say, if a man tells his father or mother, whatever I have that would help you is Corban, that is to say, already a gift to God, then you no longer let him do anything for his father or mother, since helping them would violate his vows of Corban. So you nullify the authority of the word of God, acting as if it does not apply because of your tradition, which you have handed down through the elders, and do many things such as that. So if we're reading Matthew 7, he's literally saying, I've given you commandments. This is Jesus speaking, by the way. I've given you commandments. I've given you a charter, a charge. I said that what I want you to do is take care of the stranger, for you were once a stranger in the land of Egypt. I said to feed the hungry, to house the unhoused, to clothe those who need clothes, to invite the stranger in. And you have created your own regulations, your own commandments, your own rules. And you said, nah, you need to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Nah, you can't come in here. I don't have enough, for you. Nah, I don't care if you're a hungry child. That's your parents' responsibility. Not my kid, not my problem. Jesus was an immigrant his entire life. He was a Palestinian-born Jew. all the lands that he ended up on,
the thing,
were immigrant lands. No, he was not from there. He was an immigrant on those lands.
Don't forget
go ahead.
He was never.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, Rats.
So the thing that people who are conservative, particularly those who say that they're conservative Christians, what they seem to forget is we are the bootstraps. Every single one of us are the bootstraps. We should, according to the Bible and according to normal people's human values, should be lifting one another up. It is physically impossible to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. However, when each of us acts as the bootstraps for one another, we are able to pull each other up. We are able to lift one another up. And that is what we should be doing. We shouldn't be excluding people from participating in certain activities. We shouldn't be removing people's pathways to education. We should be making citizenship easier and less bureaucratic and less expensive, because if we are saying that we are Christians, if we are saying that we value human lives, then we must be the bootstraps for one another.
Okay, I have one thing to say and then one question. I agree that we should help each other.
Hold on, Chris. No, let him go. I'll come back to you.
I don't have nothing against that. I will give my last dollar to someone to help them out. That's not a thing, and I don't have a problem with that. I believe when Jesus said you should help others, you should help others. I'm 100% for that. I'm also 100% for taking care of my country. My country's falling apart. I believe in smaller government. I don't want my government to be as big as it is. I agree the American people should help the American people. That's what I want. I want for it to be on us to help each other, not on the government. I don't think government...
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Wait, hold on. It's going to get better.
I think government tears things down. I don't know of any government program that actually helps people. I mean, I honestly don't. There's some that keeps them out of debt, maybe keeps them surviving from month to month. I'm a firm believer that if we as an American people did what we're supposed to do and took care of our own like we're supposed to, and when I say our own, I mean every human being on earth, because we're all human.
He didn't listen to a damn thing I said, did he?
Just hold on, Gigi, please.
Yes, I did. I'm just telling you that I don't believe the government does it. I agree with you on that. I'm saying it's our responsibility.
Keep making your point,
I agree with you that we should help each other. But when you said we shouldn't exclude people from doing certain things, what do you mean? I don't.
That no single human being, simply based on their existence, should be excluded from participating in society. No matter what that attribute may be, everyone has the right to exist. Everyone has the right to be happy. Everyone has the right to have food and clothing and housing, and to exclude people from things that bring them joy simply because there's an attribute that you don't like, you don't understand, you're afraid of, whatever it may be, you are not a Christian. That is not the way that we take care of one another. We shouldn't be legislating against people because of how they identify, nor should we be legislating against people for their access to health care.
So I'm supposed to support people that go directly against my Bible.
No, what goes against your Bible? Hold on, what goes against your Bible?
There's a lot of things.
Name one.
There's quite a few commandments that are broken right now.
No,
give me one.
How about everything I
said aligns with the Bible.
Correct.
Everything I just said aligns with the Bible.
But you're telling me I should help everyone.
Yep.
And I agree with that. I don't mind helping them, but I shouldn't associate with them.
Associate with whom?
Sinners.
Like who?
Does not the Bible tell you to
You're
not
sinning.
be associated with sinners?
You're sinning constantly. You have literally. Let's hold on. I'm just gonna go to Romans really quickly. I'm gonna go to Romans. Chris, I promise I'm gonna come back to you. Just hold on one second. This is Romans 13:1. Hold on a second. This is Romans 13:1. Every person is to be in subjection to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those which exist are established by God. Right? So hold on.
Government's established by God.
No, but hold on. It goes further. It goes further. The Bible literally tells us when government's laws conflict with God's commandments, we submit to God's word. So he's saying, hey, listen, provided that your government is doing what I told people to do, then you follow them. But if your government is not doing, like Babylon, for instance, right? If your government is not doing what I commanded, then you don't follow them. Because if you do follow them, you're going against my commandments, and you will be judged.
And Jones, we all fall short of the glory of God. Is that not right?
Sure.
That's
I agree with that too.
We're all sinners.
But Jesus said, if you want to come to me, you have to repent, which means to turn away from a sin. You can't say I'm turning away from a sin if you keep doing it.
What sin are you talking about? What sin are you talking about?
You know what I'm going to say. And it's
No, go ahead. I don't know.
I'm talking about homosexuality.
Yeah, that's not a sin.
The Bible literally says,
no, it doesn't.
Give one
Daniel
time.
It's an abomination.
No, it doesn't.
Give one time Jesus ever said
give me a time Jesus ever spoke about queer people.
Because last time I checked, being Christian means to follow the words of Christ. Christ being Jesus. So go ahead.
Jesus also said, I did not come to abolish the law.
Sure.
For no law will be abolished till
Name
every
a time.
jot and tittle is fulfilled.
Yep. Until the earth is, until both heaven and earth are no more.
Homosexuality is an abomination.
It's not, that wasn't added until 1946.
And not only
Leviticus
that,
actually says that man shall not lay with boy.
Boy being a minor.
Correct. They're talking about P3DOs. They're talking about pedestry. That's what it was called in those times.
What was the very first commandment God gave man? The very first one.
Do you know the first commandment?
Yes, I do. The very first thing he told Adam was, be fruitful and multiply.
Yeah, that wasn't a commandment.
That wasn't a commandment. Like, what are you talking about?
That
was not a commandment.
Hold on.
That was
did Adam?
It's number 11. You missed it.
I know.
It's on the back page.
Yeah, that's not a commandment. That's not. You said what's one of the first
commandments?
Sure.
That was not a commandment.
It wasn't.
The first
he talks about repenting.
Hold on,
What's
hold on,
Trump's
Gigi,
deal on repenting?
Gigi, please hold on. Commandments are laws in the Bible. Commandments are laws. That wasn't one of the laws.
Not a commandment for what Adam was supposed to do?
No. Commandments are laws in the Bible.
So he wasn't giving Adam a command
that wasn't one of the laws. It wasn't one of the laws.
Subdue the earth.
No, it wasn't one of the laws. But with that being said, how was Eve created according to your Bible? And do you believe that the Bible is like a historical fact? Like you believe every word that's ever written in the Bible?
Every word that's in the Bible. It says, for all scripture is given by the inspiration of God and is helpful for reproof.
You believe in talking snakes?
Yes.
And talking donkeys?
I don't believe that it has to be literal because I don't believe in unicorns.
Oh. So then it's not all true.
It is all true.
Okay. Got it. Okay. No problem. So here, I'm just going to go back to Leviticus really quickly. In the book of Leviticus, at the time, there was a problem with people in the church, which happens to still be a problem, with men in the church taking advantage of children under their purview. And so that's why that was added to the Bible. Man shall not lay with boy. Because if there was an issue with homosexuality, then they would have said something about women.
They did. They said man should not lay with man as he lays with woman, and woman should not lay with woman as she lays with man.
That wasn't added until 1946.
So why was Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed?
Because they tried to grape the angels.
Yep.
Which literally has nothing to do with what you're talking about.
Yeah, like they literally tried to grape the angels.
I forgot you were online for a minute. I was about to ask why did you say it that way, but I remembered your live broadcast.
Right. So they tried to essay the angels. That's why they were destroyed. Didn't have anything to do with homosexuality.
No, because God had already told Lot they were going to be destroyed.
Sure.
He told
what happened?
Abraham.
Sure. When
He told
what did
Abraham,
Lot?
if you can find 10 righteous men.
Sure. When they were going to try to grape the angels, what did Lot say?
He offered them his virgin daughters.
Exactly. Here, take my daughters instead.
So just out of curiosity.
That's why Sodom was destroyed.
But it was already going to be destroyed.
Exactly, but it had nothing to do with homosexuality.
Yep.
That's the part you're missing. But like, just out of curiosity, do you read the King James version of the Bible?
Yes, I only read the King James version of the Bible.
King James was gay.
Yeah.
You're messing up the punchline, man.
King James had multiple male partners. He actually gave them all their own, you know what I'm saying, like little fiefdoms. He named them lords and, you know what I'm saying, like governors and all types of shit. He used to write beautifully worded letters to all of his male partners as well.
Okay, I understand that, but sometimes God uses evil men to do great things.
Wait, what?
You realize Trump once said that he never has to repent, right? So he said that on in front of millions.
He said, "I've never done anything that I need to repent
I
for."
cannot agree with that at all.
Okay, cool. And also, do you realize that the Bible was written like in two different languages, Hebrew and like Greek,
Aramaic.
right? So you go to
Aramaic or Greek, yes.
and actually
Greek
no, the
coin.
first time Greek, yeah. So if you go to Leviticus 20:13, it goes back to exactly what we said, right?
Hold on, Mark. I'm already in Leviticus, so let me get to 2013.
Yep. That's literally that whole verse. It has nothing to do with the man playing with the man.
2013, you said, right?
Well, obviously, you're going to see it in English, obviously. It's added.
Do what?
Yeah, what you're going to read it in is in English because you have the King James version, but the Hebrew to English translation doesn't equate to man shall not lay with man. Like Daniel laid down with a man. Jesus washed men's feet. Do you know what washing of the feet? Do you know what washing of the feet is a metaphor for in the Bible?
No.
You don't?
They were basically having a giant orgy.
I dang sure can't believe that, because God says you shouldn't have sex out of wedlock.
No, it's not what he said.
Well,
he says if you look at a woman, or fornication is what he calls it, which means sex out of wedlock.
I mean, I didn't necessarily mean like orgy, but like they were washing each other's genitals is what it means.
Yeah, like I just feel like, you know, it would serve you better as a human being, right, to actually follow the words of Jesus. It would serve humanity and the rest of our country better to follow.
I'm not going to argue they would serve my country a lot better if we went back to following Jesus.
Yeah, but you called yourself a Christian and then voted for a man who cheated on his first wife with his second wife with his third wife with a corn star and a side chick, raped a woman, bragged about raping women, has 34 felonies. You know what I'm saying? Like a party that wants to take away free school lunch, take away health care for children, take away food and health care from elderly people, won't allow people to come into the country because they're, you know, the wrong color, the wrong skin color, because he said, hey, we'll bring in South Africans. They can come here. You know what I'm saying? Even though they're not being persecuted over there at all. But not the people coming from, you know, poor countries in the Caribbean, Central or South America. Like, bro, you're about as antithetical to Jesus as you could possibly be.
Again, you just made an assumption, which was wrong. I did not vote for Trump.
Bro, come on. You came up here and said Trump wasn't a racist right off the bat.
Wait. Just because I believe that Trump's not a racist,
Trump is a racist,
doesn't mean I had to vote for the man.
Trump is a racist.
I didn't vote for either candidate because both candidates were trash.
Yeah, I bet you he's about to tell us that he wrote in RFK Jr.
Oh boy, anti-vax.
I didn't vote. What part of I did not vote for either candidate because both candidates were trash. I didn't write in anybody. I did not cast a vote.
So you didn't vote for
I did not go
Congress. You didn't vote for your local politicians. Nobody.
My local, yes, I voted for my local. I voted for one judge who was up for election because the other one retired. That's what I voted for. But I didn't vote for Congress. I don't have a lot of time to spend watching and learning about these people because I work 12. I'm actually at work right now. I work in a detail shop that's family owned and operated. And I'm the only person that works here because the rest of my family are having to take care of things at home because we got hit by a tornado not long ago. But that's not a big deal. So I don't get to watch the politics like I want to. That's why I called in. I wanted to know other people's opinion. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to better myself.
What made Kamala a bad candidate?
The one thing that got me for Kamala is when they asked her, is there anything you would have changed about the previous administration? And she said, no, I can't think of one thing.
Gotcha.
That got me the most. When she wouldn't have changed how we pulled out of Iraq and got 13 Americans killed.
That was Trump's plan. Trump's plan.
It was Afghanistan.
Wait. The last 15 months or 18 months, of Donald Trump's presidency, not one American was killed.
But hold on, bro. Do you know how many were unalived while he was president? Like something like 70.
I'm not saying that when he went to the man and told him, we're going to pull out of Iraq.
Who did he? It's Afghanistan, not Iraq.
Afghanistan.
Okay, what man did he tell that?
You're right.
What man did he tell that? Who did Trump negotiate with?
I can't remember the man.
Who did Trump negotiate with?
I don't remember the man's name.
Because it wasn't
a man. Remember what he said.
He negotiated with the Taliban.
The T group.
The people that we were literally fighting for over 20 years. He didn't negotiate with the Afghan government. He negotiated with the T group.
The Afghan government didn't even find out until like days after the negotiations were already over.
They weren't even invited. The Afghan government wasn't even invited to the negotiations. Also, Trump let out 5,000 Taliban members. Who's the people that committed that atrocity that unalived 13 American soldiers?
Those same 5,000 people.
What'd you say about 5,000 people?
He released 5,000 Taliban members from American custody. Who are the people that committed that atrocity that unalived 13 Americans? The same exact 5,000 people that Trump released. One of the people that was imprisoned in Guantanamo that Trump released is now the leader of Afghanistan.
But you want to sit here?
That whole entire situation is on Trump's hands.
Oh, so it's Trump's fault that we left billions of dollars in Iraq.
We always leave military equipment in countries. We left billions of dollars of equipment in Vietnam. We left billions of dollars of equipment all across the EU during World War II. That's not a new thing. That's something we've always done.
And we only do that because like we're constant, and we're constantly creating new equipment, new and improved equipment. So all of the equipment that was used in those wars, we no longer have use for, because regardless, we're just gonna give it away anyways. So they just leave it there.
Yeah. Plus, it would cost way too much money to go and pick up all that stuff and bring it back. It's just not cost effective.
And how else are we going to prop up the military-industrial complex?
I don't agree with it.
Like, you guys need to stop taking these talking points and repeating them until you look up, you know what I'm saying, like the history of it all. Like, if you would never use that talking point if you knew that we did it in every other conflict. The Korean War, the Vietnam War, World War II. Like, you wouldn't even use that talking point.
I don't know. I might be pretty upset about Vietnam. After all, we lost the war. We should have at least brought our stuff home.
We lost the war in Iraq. We lost the war in Afghanistan. We've never won a war outside of World War II, and that's because the USSR helped us. Otherwise, we'd have lost that shit too.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't won a war since World War I.
Now, I say we lost Vietnam. I do. I will 100%
We did lose
say
Vietnam.
In all actuality, we lost. But is South Vietnam still not communist?
What?
Isn't that what we were fighting for?
No. There's no communist countries. There's not a country on this planet that doesn't have a government.
I guess that's true enough.
Yeah, we got our ass whooped in Vietnam. I don't know what the hell y'all are talking about.
The whole reason we fought Vietnam was to stop North Vietnam from taking over. So
No,
I'm not saying we didn't lose.
That's
'cause
not why
did.
we fought in Vietnam.
Okay, that's the reason they told the American people.
Yeah, we didn't want to lose control of the narcotics trade. It's the same reason we were fighting in Afghanistan.
How was wait, I just have to ask this because I'm uninformed on this. How was Afghanistan a big thing in the narcotics trade?
The vast majority of poppy, nearly 90% of the world's poppy is grown in Afghanistan. Poppy is what we make opioids from.
China.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I know what it's.
Afghanistan.
Not only that, they saw Vietnam as like turning into a communist country, and they didn't like that.
So.
Well, thanks for the information about Afghanistan. I'm glad that I know that now. Something interesting to know about the poppy fields. I honestly really thought that was China.
What? If you ask anybody who was deployed in Afghanistan, they'll tell you that they spent a significant amount of time guarding them.
Me?
Most of the people that I know that went to that war don't want to talk about it.
We can talk about it.
Yeah.
I was there.
You just told me everything I need to know. You told me why we fought.
That was Chris. That wasn't me talking.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
sorry.
in the Kandahar region, if you look at a map, right, you're going to see these fields that appear as like white, right, in the middle of the valley. What's full of that white substance down there that we drive by, right? It is the poppy and all that other stuff. So yeah, literally, we've been down there guarding that for quite some time.
Yeah, why do you think we had a surge in opioid addiction in the United States as soon as we went into Afghanistan? You think that was by accident? When we went to Vietnam, we had a surge in the H drug in the United States. You think that was by accident?
To be honest, I never looked at those two factors, but you are correct. So we have done nothing in the last 70 years that was not to increase basically the amount of drugs we bring into this country.
We're not even trying to stop the F drug. Like, we're not interested in doing that. We just want to make sure that we have control of how it gets here and where it comes from. The vast majority of the F drug doesn't come here across our southern border. And the portions of it that do are brought here by American citizens, not by undocumented immigrants. And less than 1% comes across our northern border. The vast majority comes here on airplanes and cargo ships from China.
So we're just, I can't say the word I want to say because it's for one, it'll probably get me kicked off. And so we're just
the United States is the biggest.
Screwing the American people.
Of course. Do you know how much money is in privatized prisons? And you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
And
Texas makes a lot of money off.
Have you ever heard of the Iran-Contra, the Iran-Contra as they call it here in the United States?
Yeah, it started out with the gun
to Nicaragua. Yeah.
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 I've
Where do you think we got the money from?
So why don't we stop it? To be honest,
What's
I mean,
the
we're the
incentive?
only country in the world.
What's the
We're
incentive?
the only country in the world that's guaranteed the right to abolish our government if it's no longer working for the people.
Bro, because people in the United States love guns and they love narcotics.
And it makes the American government money.
And it makes the American government a shit ton of money because big pharma can lobby people, because the gun industry can lobby, people. And so we've allowed all these corporations and all these people that make billions of dollars off of our misery to profit and to continue to do it.
Like I have no use for big pharma. Since you said that, I have no use for them. I don't believe they cure anything. Because if they cured you, that would be one less customer.
Right. This is I'm just throwing this out here for those who are watching, just so you know. There's over 1,300 people watching on TikTok. There's
That's awesome.
over 90 people watching on one YouTube channel. So over 100 watching on YouTube because we have 2 YouTube channels running. And then we're on Kick as well. So if there's only a few people where the fuck you are, that doesn't mean that there's only a few people watching. Get a life.
Well, I'm literally still watching on my YouTube channel. That way, when I get off, I can still listen to you on my headphones when I get work done.
All right. Well, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move on to the next caller, Ray. I do appreciate you. I would appreciate if you continue to tune in and watch us. Maybe you'll learn some other things.
I learned a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's things that I'm not going to agree with you on. I don't believe that a conservative can't be a Christian.
You can't.
I treat my fellow man just like Jesus tells me to treat them.
Sir, you can't vote against people's right to live and then call yourself a Christian. You can't.
I don't vote against people's right to live.
You did. I mean, you didn't vote at all. But following conservative policies and conservative ideologies, like quite literally, is anti-Christian. Like feeding children, the conservative right wants to take away school lunches and breakfasts. Caring for the unhoused. I think you said something like the social programs don't work. Like, how do you think we got out of the Great Depression?
Okay. Since you brought that up, I got to run through this. I'm not saying that at one point in time that social programs didn't work. I'm saying that now they do not. Government doesn't fix anything. It makes you reliant on government. That's why I say it should be brought down to the American people. We should be the ones doing it. We shouldn't count on our government to take care of our people. We should count on us.
That's what the government is for. It's in our Constitution.
As a conservative, the one thing I like about conservatism is we want a smaller government.
No, you don't.
I want it to be.
The government is massive right now. Controlling women's bodies, controlling what parents can do with their children, controlling what books people are allowed to read. That's not smaller government. That's massive. That's government overreach like a motherfucker.
Not only that, Trump is constantly trying to stop protest and freedom of speech.
Right. Like he wants to control protests on college campuses. That's the First Amendment. Like this isn't smaller government.
He threatened to shut down federal funding to colleges if they continue to allow protests.
Thank you, Christopher. Go ahead.
Ray, I'd like to clarify something for you. Smaller government does not mean less department of governments. Smaller government means less interference in your daily life.
Correct.
So even though we may be removing departments from our government, the amount of reach that our government has into our daily activities is much greater than it has ever fucking been. And it's only getting worse. So if you want smaller government, then you need to vote for candidates who want to do things that help you thrive as an individual.
Wait, y'all just said that the Conservative Party was taking away freedom of speech.
Correct.
I don't think it was the Conservative Party that censored me online when I tried to talk about COVID.
Well,
I'm pretty sure that was
because,
the
sir,
Democrat
are you
Party.
a doctor?
It doesn't matter if I'm
Yes,
a doctor.
no, it absolutely matters. It absolutely matters.
Freedom of speech.
It absolutely matters. Those are private corporations, right? Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever other, those are private organizations. The government didn't take your information off of those private organizations' websites. The private organizations took the information off their websites.
Told them to.
No, they did not tell them to. They did not tell them to. I know what Mark Zuckerberg said. Mark Zuckerberg said they asked him for the safety and benefit of the American people to not allow people to continue to spread misinformation because people were fucking dying by the hundreds of thousands.
So was Joe Rogan proven right about his the medicine he took, the
ivermectin? No.
Ivermectin?
No.
He wasn't?
No. But also,
it's not a beta blocker?
No. It's a dewormer for. I grew up on a farm. It's a dewormer for fucking dogs and livestock.
But freedom of speech doesn't allow you to say whatever you want. Like, you can't go into a movie theater and yell fire because that's a crime, because it incites panic and hysteria and people get hurt and people unalive, which is the same thing when you're spreading COVID misinformation. You can't do that because when you spread misinformation, people take that information as truth and they get hurt. They're harmed. That's why.
Not only that, but the party that actually restricted free speech in the way that we look at it, in that our First Amendment rights allow us to critique our government, was Donald Trump when Chrissy Teigen called him a pussy-ass bitch on Twitter and he wanted it taken down.
Right. Matter of fact, Elon and Donald Trump have been removing tons of people from Truth Social and from X for saying things that are against them. Also, Trump won't let the media that won't report on him favorably into his press conferences or the Oval Office. That's violating freedom of press and freedom of speech.
And last time I checked, freedom of speech only applies to interference from governments, not privatized individuals or organizations.
Correct. So anyways, in our Constitution, it says in the very first paragraph that the reason for the Constitution and the reason for the government is to protect the general welfare of the citizens. And I would say that access to housing and food and health care is contributing to our general welfare. Wouldn't you?
I can't agree. I almost said agree when I meant to say disagree. I can't disagree that helping people get these things is not a good thing. But making them rely on the government to keep them is where I have a problem.
That's what our government exists for. These people are hired employees. They're not some entity that we don't fucking know who they are or where they are. They're hired employees.
So you're saying it's okay for someone to just live off of employment or Social Security?
Sure.
Because that's what my government is for.
I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care. I honestly don't.
As long as they're provided the necessities to live.
Yep.
If that's
I think everybody.
I have no problem with it.
Right. Everybody should have a house. Everybody should have food to eat. Everybody should have access to health care. Everybody should have access to clean water.
And clothing.
The rest of the shit, I don't care. Like, do you think that human beings, hold on. Do you think that you believe in God? You think God created you just to work?
No. I don't think he created me just to work.
So you could work until you're 67 years old, and then maybe, just maybe, if you're lucky, you'll have 5 years of retirement before you kick the bucket?
I've got to work till I die, but yeah.
Exactly. Why? Why should you have to work until you die?
Like we're the
You think God created you and this big, beautiful ass planet for you to never leave your fucking small ass town?
Like, how is it that we're one of the richest countries in the world, but our Our life expectancy rate
is going backwards.
Going backwards instead of forward.
We're the only industrialized nation where the life expectancy is going in the opposite direction.
Did it go from like 76 to 74 for people in my demographic?
It's gone backwards, yeah. For Gen X and elder millennials.
That's great, because I'm a Gen X. Thanks for letting me know I'm going to die sooner.
Yeah, so am I. Well, I'm a Zennial or whatever.
Just trying to be a little funny right there. But no, I agree with you that the government should take care of certain people. I do.
They should take care of all people. They're hired employees.
Okay, so if everybody quit their job and nobody did anything, how's the government going to take care of people?
People aren't just going to sit around and do nothing. People wouldn't do that. Never in the history of humanity have people just sat around and did nothing.
Actually, people aren't forced. When people aren't forced to work jobs that they hate, they actually become more prosperous and more creative and more. What's the word I want to use? They discover more ingenuity and improved processes that we have in place because they're allowed to thrive in arenas that they actually are fucking interested in versus what they have to do to make sure that their basic needs are met to stay alive.
Is the word innovative?
Thank you. Yes.
Oh shit. They agree.
Oh, that was loud.
Sorry,
yeah,
that wasn't me though.
He always agrees with women, right? But Ray, I had a quick question for you. Like, you said that you work super hard, so you don't have time to like look into things and research things, and you don't have time, really.
Yeah, I should be working right now.
Right. So I'm trying to figure out where it is that you picked up all these talking points, because every single one of them that you said has been super MAGA Trump defending. And if you don't have time look into any of this, where did you pick these up at, is what I want to know.
I have headphones, and all I do all day is just put on a TikTok. Excuse me, I don't have TikTok, I have YouTube. I just turn on my YouTube, click on the first things at the top of the page, and then just let it play what it's going to play after that. So that's what I do all day. That's all I'm doing at work. I don't look at what it is. I don't care what it's talking about. That's how I found y'all, literally. I was actually took 5 minutes because I'm a smoker. I know it's bad for me, but I smoke. And I was going through the shorts, watching a few shorts because I like the funny stuff. I like the stuff about soldiers coming home, and your live popped up. So I'm like, let's watch this live.
So when you hear things on these channels, on these platforms, you never stop and say, let me go look that up.
I literally, except when I stopped to smoke, and what I'm doing right now, this is the first break I've taken in all day except for my smoke break. I literally should be washing a car right now, but this was more interesting to me. I had to get on. I had to find out. This is how I'm doing research right now, is by talking to y'all, because I don't do this. This is the first time I've ever done this, ever called in. But I'm never going to learn if I don't talk to other people. And literally, when I say I work all day, I moved up here to help my sister and my brother-in-law. I know nobody where I'm at. I'm a Texan. I'm in Oklahoma. I don't know anybody. I have nobody to talk to. So I don't get to see other people's opinions. So I saw y'all had a differing opinion than me. So the first thing I wanted to do, let me find out some stuff. So I called y'all. Y'all have been very informative. I thank y'all for that. I will look into these things because you've been informative. So I will look into it because of what y'all told me.
I will caution you going forward, even here, despite the fact that the people that you've spoken with are highly intelligent and full of knowledge and information. Don't just believe things because people say them with authority. That's a huge problem that we have in this country currently. Research it for yourself. Figure out places to get information from that's credible, and look things up, because anybody can tell you anything and it can sound great, and if you believe it, then that's a big ass problem.
what I just said. I will look into things y'all just told me. Like there's certain things I believe. Like when he told me about the drugs. Okay, I'm going to believe that because that's something I can honestly see my government doing. The thing about we're never going to agree that it said boys in the Bible. I'm never going to agree with y'all on that. I've been a Christian for a long time. I've read my Bible all the time. I've not only read the King James, I've read the NIV, but King James is my go-to. That's why I don't like some of the other versions, because they change things and it doesn't say the same thing that the King James version says. Would I like to read Hebrew and Greek so I could go back and read the original? Yes, but I can't. I'm not smart enough to learn that. I'm just going to be honest. So there's things that I'm not going to agree with you on, but I will research everything y'all told me today. I've made notes so I can go back and look things up so I can find out what's actually going on. So y'all educated me today. I appreciate it.
Glad to hear that.
And I hope y'all have a great day. I hope God blesses every one of you. I agree with her 100%. All of y'all are very intelligent. Thank you for putting out your podcast.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you for being here.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a great day.
You too. Bye. Call line is back open. Hey guys, there's 1,100 people in here. There's only 520 left in the goal. So let's go ahead and hit that goal so we can get to the spins, y'all. Let's get to the spins. Hello. Thank you for calling, caller. Your name, age, and where are you calling from?
Shut up, you.
Nice try, though. Nice try, though. You tried it. You tried it.
Dang, he called that many times just to say that.
Yeah, like, bro, that's what I'm saying. You called all them times, and then you thought you was about to pull over a fast one on me? Too fast for that shit, bro. Too fast. You tried it, though. Good on you.
Ontario Premier.
Mac 10, what's up? Oh, all right.
If the U.S. escalates, I will not hesitate to shut the electricity off completely.
Who said that?
Ontario Premier Doug Ford.
Uh-oh. Ontario's talking about turning the power off.
Then President Trump says, I will shortly be declaring a national emergency on electricity within the threatened areas.
What is that going to do? There's a national emergency. Okay, and, like, where are you going to get the electricity from?
I was about to say, because we don't have it.
Right. Where's it going to come from? You going to tap into somebody else's grid? Shantae, what's wrong with him?
I don't know. Like, also, what's the point of declaring a national emergency when you're going to eradicate fucking FEMA?
Right.
Who's gonna go help?
I bet you that they're just going to give Elon yet another contract to do some shit he's not actually going to do. They're going to put Tesla batteries everywhere. Tesla solar panels. Oh, man. Jesus H. Peeps. Oh, they hung up. I don't know who that was, but they didn't wait long enough for me to get over there. Yeah, they didn't wait long enough for me to get there. What was I about to say? Oh, guys, Cash App, PayPal, tip jar, all in the link tree. Let's go ahead and hit that goal so we can spin the wheel and give away some merch today, but also help families in need. Like I said, we have some people that desperately need our help and assistance. I don't know if they're here or not. I'm gonna check to see if they're in the comments somewhere, or in the live somewhere. Nope, I don't see them. Because we were able to help Mooney last week, which I'm sure a lot of you know, my good friend Mooney Boggles, but I don't see them here right now. So anywho, so Sid, what's up? Okay. Oh shoot, Rebel Kel, I did not mean to do that. What the hell? Sorry, I didn't mean to send an invite out. Anyways, the call line is back open. For those who want to call in, feel free to do so. I'm gonna give it a couple minutes. If nobody calls in, I think. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. I'm gonna go take a break. I'm gonna go get something to eat, and hang out with Quentin. You know, he's here home for spring break. So, who just sent this? Oh, somebody sent $5 to the tip jar, but I don't see a name on there. I think that the last caller, you know what I'm saying, at least, and Joanna, if you don't agree, you can tell me. But I think the last caller at least showed some promise. Like maybe, just maybe, they'll get better.
I agree. That's what I'm hoping. It's giving that he's a typical, yeah, I don't have time, so I'm just going to go with what feels good to me type person. And that he's going to have to examine why what he's hearing feels good to him.
Right.
Why he wants to go with that. There's hope for him, though, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of hope. I think that the problem is far too often, we have an issue with media literacy in this country, and people don't even know where to go to get fair and accurate reporting, or, you know, information. So.
Oh, Nikki said it was Tamara that sent the $5 to the tip jar.
Okay, got it. I'll put it on there. Oh, wrong one.
I mean, plus him going from Texas and then coming to Oklahoma, being super duper extra conservative Christian is not the best base for him to critically think, because inherently being super religious and being Christian teaches you to be easily manipulated.
Right.
And not to think for yourself and not to question things, because that's sinful and that's blasphemous and all that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a lot of deconstructing to do from a lot of stuff, and hopefully he starts. Hopefully a seed was planted.
One can only hope.
That super Christian shit.
Right. Yeah, I don't understand how all of these people call themselves Christians but don't have any idea what any of the core values or tenets of being a Christian even are. I just think that's super odd, to be honest with you. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I mean, they get to ignore the parts that they don't like, because that's what they do in most churches, especially in Southern churches. Like, the Bible itself is full of contradictions, but you just ignore that and do the stuff that makes you feel good.
Right.
Yeah, I know it says this one thing about God in this verse and a different thing about God in this verse, but that doesn't matter. You know, you just have to keep asking God, and then he'll explain it to you, even though it makes no fucking sense at all. Like, which is why I say it teaches you to be easily manipulated. If you have to believe in something that no one can prove, that's completely contradictory, and that's the only way to get what it is that you need, then when other things that you see are contradictory, you're not gonna examine that critically at all either.
Right.
You're just gonna go with what feels good to you. You're gonna go with the parts that you like.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree with you. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here for now and go do some other stuff. But I do appreciate y'all for hanging out. Thanks for those who have tapped the screen. Did we even get to 500,000? Oh, we did. Did we? Oh, yeah, we did. One of these days, we're going to get to 1 million. One of them. Thank you for all the new subscribers on all the platforms, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. Thank you for the people that called in. Thank you for the guests that have been on the panel. Thank you to the greatest mods in the business. Thank you. I know you guys be out there working hard. Thank you. Thank you for all the gifters as well that have sent, the gifts, the TikTok gifts. We appreciate you. And thank you to No Rads and my son for being, amazing co-hosts. And then our good friend Joanna Shante for coming in with the cleanup. But anyways, check on your friends. Everybody who says they're okay is not necessarily okay. Protect your peace at all costs. Take care of your mental health. If you have not yet started your therapy journey, today's an amazing opportunity for you to do so. Eat as healthy as you can. Drink your water. Take whatever medication you're supposed to take. And as always, stay dangerous. Love you guys. Till next time.